thing. The filter for our necessary judgments would need God's Spirit and Jesus's words.
Well, that's good, but Jesus told us bluntly not to judge. But in John 7:24, it says, "Do not judge according to appearance, but judge with righteous judgment." So, this plus some of the other scriptures we're going to look at later after Pentecost, we're not supposed to incorrectly judge. And a lot of this, I think, has to do with self awareness and the intention behind the judgment. When do we engage, Rick, in God honoring righteous judgment?
Well, that's a really good question. And the answer is the scriptures give us lots of examples as to when appropriate judgment should be put in place. And here's the thing. You can say, okay, let me take down all of the examples so I know when to look to make my judgments. And if you're doing that, you're going to have to start over because you're all wrong. Because it comes down to God's Spirit moving in us and Jesus's words, Jesus's compassion. That's why he spent so much time saying, don't judge, because to inappropriately judge is a grave, grave mistake. So let's look at times we should judge and how it's supposed to work. Let's continue by acknowledging some of the judgments that we are responsible for. All of these judgments should be made through the influence of God's Spirit in our lives. That's the way it should work. So as Christians, we should be judging basic earthly disputes amongst ourselves. 1 Corinthians chapter 6, verses 1 to 3.
Does any one of you, when he has a case against his neighbor, dare to go to law before the unrighteous and not before the saints?
Let me just stop real quick. Dare to go to law before the unrighteous. Bible commentary by David Guzik says, apparently, one Christian believed he had been wronged by another and sought justice in the local courts. The local judge sat in what was known as the bema seat of the civil magistrate, located in the heart of the marketplace. Because Greek culture found a good legal battle entertaining, anyone's lawsuit soon became public knowledge.
Verse 2. Or do you not know that the saints will judge the world? If the world is judged by you, are you not competent to constitute the smallest law courts? Other translations say things like, are you incompetent to try trivial cases or even the smallest matters? Continuing with verse 3, do you not know that we will judge angels? How much more matters of this life? His point is that the brotherhood has to rely on each other with an interconnected trust. Having been called out of the world, Christians are trying to humbly live by a higher standard.
I like that. An interconnected trust. So the first thing is we're supposed to be able to take care of the temporal issues, the physicality of our lives between ourselves, because we're supposed to have that interconnected trust. The Apostle Paul continues in these verses in 1 Corinthians 6 by encouraging the brotherhood to apply their Christian maturity to their daily lives, to all of those physical things in their lives that they may have disputes about, especially when it comes to having to figure these things out. Find those who have the needed wisdom in Christ and humbly work through the matter. That's the first example of the kinds of things we are supposed to judge. But you notice that it doesn't come from, oh, I've got the answer. It comes from the humility of understanding, the compassion, and that interconnectedness that the apostle is saying, you're in Christ, act like it. So